Keep an eye out for you, citizen born abroad.
Doesn't sound like a citizen and I'm abroad. That's what it sounds like.
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
We're
Now
live,
that you say
FYI.
it, yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Fantastic. Here we are after a week's break. Uh-oh. Is that yours, Odette?
Yeah, I just turned it down.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. Yep. Well, I got to turn mine down too. All right. Odette,
Do we have
you are here.
Are we good with
You're
all
in.
the sound and everything?
Yep.
Fantastic.
All right. It's official. Let's
official.
Let's get this party started, shall
Get the
we?
party started.
All right. How's everyone doing out there tonight?
Hello, everyone.
Welcome for joining. Welcome and thank you for joining us. My name is John Gardner, and this is my wife and law partner, Radlin Mendoza.
Hi, everybody.
And we are the immigration law firm Gardner and Mendoza. We were founded in 2000 by the two of us. So we've been at this immigration thing for quite some time, and we are joined tonight by our very special guest who joins us most weeks, and it's always such a pleasure to have her, Odette Batchelor, who is retired USCIS officer and citizen born abroad. Maybe.
Wait. I don't know if that, may or may not be. Yeah.
May or may not be. Maybe what's the reverse of that?
I don't know.
No, literally, I do have a certificate.
Okay.
Okay, gotcha.
All right.
Yeah.
CRBA?
Huh?
CRBA, Consular Reported Birth Abroad?
Yes.
Okay. Well, man, you could have been a client of Gardner and Mendoza's.
Anyway.
Military.
Yeah, if it lined up.
Yes. But Odette, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's always great to have you. We come to you every Wednesday from 8 o'clock to 8:45. We give you immigration updates, and we like to answer your immigration questions. So if you have a question, get it in Facebook. If you're joining us on TikTok, get your question in the queue, and we will get to it as quickly as we possibly can.
Yes.
I do want to warn you that what we do here is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not legal advice.
Not legal advice. And Joe, go ahead and pop your question in. I see that he has a quick question. Go ahead and pop it in. I don't see.
Yeah. Joe says he has a question. Go ahead and get the question in. So we can start off tonight with, why people are joining us and getting their questions in. One of the things that, one of the updates that we have, we may have mentioned this last week. I don't recall. That's right. We weren't here last week because we were watching World Cup, and that's why
we weren't supposed to tell people that.
And I think we told everyone that's exactly.
Is that why?
What we
okay,
doing.
I thought we were going to say, maybe we're out of town or whatever.
No,
we like to keep it real.
We knew that everybody was going to be watching the U.S.
That's right.
Bosnia game, and that we'd have nobody joining us here. So we figured, what's the point of being here if they're all glued to the TV?
If you guys aren't here, then what's the point?
And I'll tell you what, it was a great result. Didn't go so well a week later against Belgium, but you know what?
It was fun.
It
was a really awesome game, and we were also able to watch the Senegal-Belgium game, which is also a great game, but it didn't turn out too well for Senegal, and we were with our Senegalese friends, so it was nail biting.
But the one major update, and I think we may have briefly mentioned it, but just mention it again because it's obviously the blockbuster Supreme Court ruling of the year, is in a 6-3 decision. The Supreme Court did affirm that the 14th Amendment does grant birthright citizenship. So anybody who hasn't heard that or wasn't following it or didn't know, it's now settled again for the moment. And I say for the moment because you never know. Cases get overturned, sometimes 10 years later, sometimes 100 years later, but it looks like birthright citizenship is here for now, and I suspect it will be here for a very, very long time. I don't see this changing anytime soon. So those of you who are watching that, that's the update there. All righty. And then did you want to get this question real quick?
Let's
from
get Joe's
Joe?
question. I think he was first in line there.
Yeah.
So yes, we answered your immigration questions, and John did introduce Odette. I mean, this is a really great opportunity for you all to join our lives, and please share if you've got friends who are going through the process or who are curious. Odette is a gem to our lives, and she can answer questions that are from the perspective of a 42-year veteran of the immigration service. And so that was with the Legacy Immigration Naturalization Service and the Department of Homeland Security. And so y'all have an amazing resource. We have an amazing resource. Odette has been super helpful to our team. And please ask your questions, and go ahead and direct them to Odette so you can find out what actually happens on the other side of the immigration desk when you're in front of an immigration officer and you've got a naturalization case, an I-751 case, a K-1 that now you have an adjustment of status. Odette has probably done, she's done 100,000 cases, right? In a 42-year span. Odette, have you done 100,000 cases? Probably.
If not more.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
And I think we counted it up one night, Odette. I think we counted that you had been through 5 administrations in those few years. And I like to bring that up because, Odette has seen, the ebbs and flows, the ups and downs, the changes from administration to administration, and really has a lot of great understanding and insight to how things operate over there. So if you have questions, we can try to answer them. And then we can also toss them over to our resident USCIS expert.
Yes.
Kind of like at the football game where they have the retired referee in the booth, and they say to that referee, "What would your call on the field have been?" And they go through the analysis. It's kind of great.
And it's super valuable because it's not like Odette retired 20 years ago. She just retired. So very freshly retired. And it's a real gift to all of us for Odette to be here.
So Joe's question that came up, and I got to warn you, Joe, right out of the gate, we're not going to be able to tell you what we would do if we were in your shoes, because we don't want to be giving actual legal advice that you rely on. If you become a client of ours, obviously we can do that, but we still can hypothetically try to go through this and see what we get here. So Joe says that he omitted a fact on the I-130 and has already informed the visa issuing embassy. Bids expires November. If it gets close to that date, if you were me, what would you do? I guess he's
visa
worried.
Expiring November.
And he omitted something on the I-130, and he's getting worried that November's coming up and he doesn't know what he should do or what his options are. You want to know what we would do if we were him?
Well, I'm a little bit confused. So we have an I-130 petition that was approved, and sounding like to me. Then there was an interview already at the U.S. Embassy abroad, and the visa already informed the visa issuing embassy. So the visa
expires in November.
Was issued, right? So you have 6 months to travel on it. We're all together here, right, Odette?
Yep.
So
he says it's at the Manila office right now.
So was there an interview?
He didn't say.
Because he says the visa is expiring. So
visa expiring November. And then he says, I'll wait the 2 weeks they suggested, but after that, maybe an additional notice.
I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry. I can't follow. I mean, if the visa was already issued based on the I-130 petition, CFO passed, visa issued, but accidentally omitted a previous marriage. Oh,
accidentally omitted a previous marriage.
Uh-oh. Odette's mouth just opened. So did mine. We were reading, so yours couldn't open.
Mine was already open. I was
oh man. Okay. Yeah, that's That's going to be a problem. That's going to be an issue. So it sounds like the visa was already issued, right? Silence. Okay.
Well, yeah, it's right.
Silence.
No one here is
All
loving
right.
that fact
Okay.
pattern.
I don't
Joe.
know. I don't know what type of case is this. Is this like an I-130 petition filed for a spouse, consular processing? Joe forgot to put his previous marriage down as the petitioner. Joe is the beneficiary. He's been issued the visa. He forgot to put his previous marriage down. Maybe that's the case. Like, you know, a lot of people forget to put marriages down when they are married in the Philippines, right, Odette?
Correct.
Yes, this is a, I'm not going to say it's a Filipino thing, but it is kind of a Filipino thing. And the reason is because there is no divorce in the Philippines, and getting annulment is like, you know, really difficult. I was going to, you know, do an analogy, but it's very difficult and lengthy to get an annulment. So, Odette, can you speak to just for an I-130 petition approval? It sounds like this I-130 petition was approved, but kind of looking down the line, right? Looking down the line of, okay, person has that visa issued, comes into the United States, enters the United States, they're a permanent resident as of that day. What can happen here though if this doesn't get resolved?
We'll get a revocation notice from the American consulate at that point, and they will be contacted by USCIS for further information to reopen that case.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess the scenario here, okay, so it sounds like he has let the embassy know that, hey, look, I forgot to mention this.
And that's good. That's good.
That's a good thing. Right.
Mhm.
That's definitely a good thing. I'm just kind of thinking of logistics, right? The logistics of the person entering in on that already issued immigrant visa. Let's just say the US Embassy in Manila just don't do anything, right? That can happen too. I mean, it may not happen, but it could happen. That person enters the United States. Let's also say it's a, you know, a person who's coming in on a conditional card. Probably unlikely because of how long it takes now. But okay, forget conditional card. Forget the 2-year card. They're coming in on the, they're gonna get a 10-year green card, but then they want to apply for citizenship down the road, right? If something was left off, what happens there at that citizenship stage if it's actually the beneficiary's information?
Well, that falls into misrep right there.
Right, a misrepresentation
Mhm.
on that I-130. So there a lot can happen, or in on that DS-260. So we're just kind of doing a lot of guessing, but it can be trouble if you know, this is for everyone, right?
Right.
You're completing your I-130 petition. Odette has gone through, you know, some of the red flags of cases before. We've talked about, you know, when an officer is looking at a case. I mean, this could really be a problem for the case down the road. It could be a problem for the case now. It just really depends on the different scenarios. But the fact that you tried to fix it is good. And I think that if they do something about it, Odette, you're thinking they could notify USCIS.
They'll notify us, but I guess one question is, did they even travel into the US at this point yet? Because if they didn't, then everything is going to be handled by the American consulate.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it. So Joe, I think the best course of action here is to give us a call and see if we can't properly advise you on best route to take here. And our number is 757-464-9224. You can also send us a message, a DM us on TikTok if you'd like to have a consultation with one of our attorneys who can kind of dig more into this and talk about the different scenarios and how this could impact the ability for you or the person you petition to safely immigrate into the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have all the things they said, and you got an issue here that really needs to be looked at carefully. So I would definitely give us a call so that we can dig into it more.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you for that insight, Odette. So Nato CD wants to know what are good moral character for citizenship now. So, like, if you're somebody applying for citizenship right now, and you have to show good moral character, what do you have to show?
I think we should ask the person who's probably done 20,000 and 400s.
Well, they said now, I mean, good moral character never changed. It's still the same, so one thing we just talked about, misrepresentation of any facts that could be on your application. That's a misrep. That's good moral character. It could be several, and I say several, but I've had one that this person had several DUIs. And when I say several, it was over 20, believe it or not.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
That's an issue, right?
Yeah.
Any type of criminal background. And it could be something that's very bad, and it could be something that's minor depending on what it is. I can't, every case is different on a criminal. So those will be good questions. So many good moral characters. I don't know, help me out. I can't think real quick.
Okay, so
Child support.
There you go.
Supporting of your dependents.
Oh, voting is a big one.
Registering.
Registering to vote. Providing proof that you never did it.
Yeah, so that's a really good topic. Let's just pause there for a second and discuss that. I believe that immigration officers are a bit more lenient in years past when someone inadvertently don't clock me on the use of inadvertently, okay? Inadvertently registered to vote. And we all know this happens. So one thing that we would like, this is advice, is to please read what you are signing when it comes to going to the DMV.
DMV is a danger zone.
DMV is a danger zone because the DMV employee is just doing their job, right? They're offering this, and then you say, "Oh, but I can't vote." You might say that. I'm like, no, you can. It's fine, because we're being asked to ask everyone to do this and complete this. So we've seen it happen before. I've had cases in front of Odette. I've had cases in front of other immigration officers where the person has registered to vote and thought that they could vote, and they thought they could vote in a federal election. They thought they could vote in the presidential election. And we would have to wait 5 years from that registration or the voting and then reapply. So be careful with that. I don't know if I would do that now. I wouldn't reapply if you have registered to vote or voted at this current moment. Odette, what are your thoughts on that?
I have had so many issues with voting. And like you said, a lot of it is from the DMV. People have actually gone as far as going to the DMV, trying to get copies of their applications to show that they didn't check it off. I've had one where the person initials were not on there, but it looks like somebody like printed it on there, but it wasn't theirs compared to the rest. It's really hard. So you really have to make sure you let the DMV people know, no, I can't vote. Please leave that as a no, because I've had people where it's somebody checked it off on them. I believe them. I really do believe them.
Yeah.
So you really have to be careful, because I know how they interpret that everyone can vote and everyone cannot. So
yes,
that is one of the biggest problems we see on a regular, is that voting one.
Right. And this is not like some immigrant voter fraud thing.
Right.
Right. It's not, it is not that.
A lot of it is very innocent.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I'm sure there could be whatever, one or two, but I mean, it really isn't. They're just like, I thought that I could.
Right.
When there are huge elections, when Obama was running for office, there were voter drives in the malls and they were getting young people to register to vote. And, you get caught up in it. So just be really careful. We're going back to the question, which is some of the things that can go against good moral character, and then ultimately have your N-400 application denied. And registering to vote and voting is one of them.
Noticing registering to vote.
I will add on to that in the past that the officer will say, okay, you need to apply in 5 years, but there's also risk with that too. I mean, to put your application in and check in the box, yes, I've registered to vote, because you are claiming to be a U.S. citizen. And that's a lot of times fatal to everything, false claim to U.S. citizenship, even if it is a harmless a mistake. So as Odette said, innocent. We brought up child support. One of them is one question is habitual drunkard, right?
Yes.
And that kind of goes to like your 20 DUIs. And that could be an issue as well. That's somebody
and be careful there. In addition to the actual convictions, be careful about just saying you are.
Right. Like, I mean, you shouldn't, I'm not going to say what you should or shouldn't do, but,
my person did claim I am a habitual drunker, very clear, and was drunk at his interview, unfortunately. For him.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So he claimed that he needed to claim that because there's no going around that.
Right.
And let's say you don't have a DUI and, you enjoy wine every night, maybe like 3-4 glasses of wine every night. You don't necessarily need to check that box. Yes.
Are you right? Drunkard? Yes, I am.
And if you do, you're gonna have to apply again in 5 years because your application is probably going to get denied. So those are some of the common ones that you mentioned, Odette, and then also taxes as
Criminal
well.
background. I was just going to ask you if you wanted to say anything about taxes.
Taxes is a big one. Taxes are a big one. And can you speak a little bit about the totality of the circumstances approach?
Well, just, the burden in theory has kind of twisted a little bit here, shifted a little bit, because it used to be that, you were eligible unless there were certain factors against you. And this administration has been pushing it to be more of a situation where you're showing that you have all the things that you need to be a U.S. citizen, rather than just that you don't have any of the, the X marks on your record that would knock you out of the box. And so we're still sort of seeing how that plays out. Odette, I think you've told us a couple times that, your office that you were in and running for many years, the new administrations come in, they change the rules, and you move as quickly as you can to just sort of start doing whatever the new directive is. Is that fair to say?
That's fair to say. They're sometimes a little lenient on one administration. The next one is like following the law to the T.
Yeah.
So, right.
And you do. So there still may be a little lag time. And by that, I just mean that, you never know from office to office whether they're, how stringently they're applying that. But if we assume that they are, and they're all getting close to doing it a lot, you just want to be more prepared. You want to be putting a better file together, a better application together with better evidence. And, to plug us a little bit, that's where having a good attorney can really help, because we can make sure that that you don't have any of the things that automatically knock you out of the box. Like Radlin was talking about, if you're doing this yourself, you're a DIYer, and you're like, oh yeah, I voted, but you know what, I'll just tell them what happened at DMV, no big deal. We would probably have a different approach to like, well, wait a second, let's not do this right now. Let's wait. We're going to know the things that are really, truly going to be a problem and how we might want to address them. And we're also going to know what just really good, solid evidence to put together to make sure that everything's in order and that it gets passed. Taxes are a great example. Even in my criminal defense work and in immigration work, every person out there in the world seems to think that everything either rises or falls on their taxes. But I paid my taxes was what I would always hear and continue to hear. That's great. That's great. But just that alone is not going to fix every problem in every case.
That's true. But you do have to pay your taxes.
That's right.
If you want to become a US citizen. And a lot of our clients have payment plans with the IRS. And so that's something that could be looked at in the totality of the circumstances. Like, yes, you pay your taxes. Yes, you have your IRS payment plan, but are we thinking you're a person of good moral character if you're on a payment plan, right? So these are some of the common ones. As Odette said, good moral character has been the same. It's been the same forever. The big thing that has changed here is what John has mentioned, the totality of the circumstances. And just because you check no on all the boxes, we're still going to look at everything. And we are, just to prepare our clients for that, I mean, we do ask them to get a good moral character letter from their employer, or if they volunteer at the school, just to make sure, right? Just to seal the deal. And so we don't have to go back and say, oh, here's this or here's that. We prepare them and have them bring that to the interview. So.
Yeah, one of the questions we get, and Odette, maybe you can address this, and you, Radlin, as well. What do you say to folks who haven't paid taxes for years? They say, I haven't filed my taxes in the last 4 years. What can they do? What are their options?
If I had someone, which I've had, that have said these things, first thing is I ask why they haven't filed, whatever the reason may be, that I would send them a notice in the mail. And that notice is going to give them 30 days to file those taxes and provide proof that it has been filed. Yeah.
Right. So
Yes.
If you're listening and you're one of those folks who you haven't paid filed your taxes in a long time, you're better off to get them filed and paid, or get on a payment plan if you owe something, rather than just be rolling in there without having filed them.
Oh, absolutely. Because 30 days is not a long time.
Not a long. And just so you know, we don't take copies of the printed version. We need tax transcripts
anymore
from the IRS.
Tax transcripts, which it can take more than 30 days to get, which gives us a really great segue into the next question here on Facebook from Marlon. You read that there?
Yeah, a friend received a notice of intent to deny, and USCIS just gave it to her 1 month to submit her appeal. Her husband is in the Air Force, but I think transitioning out this year. Can she be denied? She's adjusting for marriage.
So
we got a NOID here in 1 month act.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on what the NOID is. So notice of intent to deny, it's a short period. You can't have any more time. You're not allowed any more time than the 30 days. Odette, do you guys ever give more than 30?
Nope. By law, USCIS cannot.
It would be
30
nice.
Is it?
It would be nice if they issued a request for evidence, which is 87 days. But, they have their targets too, right? You want cases open and closed, and a NOID could be the appropriate. So Odette, can you tell us why you guys would be issuing a NOID instead of an RFE? I mean, I guess it's on a case-by-case basis.
It's on a case-by-case, but if it's something simple as getting a copy of a birth certificate, marriage, divorce, or something, then we'll give the RFE, we'll give it for the 87 days, because that's general things that should have been sent in with the application in the first place.
Right. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I recently saw Annoyed for a waiver to submit a waiver within 30 days, which is tough to do. So the case is not necessarily denied, Marlon, even if her husband is getting out of the Air Force. If she filed a PIP, right, a parole in place through military, just because he's getting out doesn't mean that the case is going to get denied. The NOID is going to be for something else, right? It's not because he's getting out of the military. The NOID is going to be for, as Odette said, maybe they forgot to submit a document, a divorce decree. If it's a waiver case, then a lot of work has to be done in a short period of time. But it's not. If a PIP was issued, they're also issued to the spouses, the family members of veterans, right? You don't have to be active duty military. So,
and how about just so it's clear to Marlon here, if whatever is causing the notice of intent to deny is not fixed, is not cured within the time, the 1 month, what happens?
Most likely they will end up getting a denial notice.
Right. They're going to get a denial notice. And the fact that the husband's in the Air Force, that's not going to help.
Yeah.
Yeah, not if they don't answer the NOID.
So
they have to answer it.
Right. Hear that, Marlon? I'm trying to not panic you, but just put a little bit of fear into. It sounds like it's not you. I think it's a friend. That's what you said. A friend received. Yeah, you might want to let them know. Hey, I was listening to this Facebook live stream last night, and these immigration lawyers and USCIS immigration officers said that y'all need to move
need to answer it
fast.
Right.
And the fastest way you might be able to do that is to contact an immigration lawyer, maybe us, maybe someone else, unless you do something you can do yourself and you're sure of that. But if you're kind of confused about what it is that they're even asking or why they're intending to deny it, I would reach out and get some professional help immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, if they don't answer it for whatever reason, husband is maybe he's out, he can't help, the deadline is passed, the case is denied, they're still going to be able to refile the case.
Yeah.
Most likely. Again, this is a marriage case. Most likely still be able to refile. So there is that, but then you have to pay new filing fees. There's a period where you're not only do you not have status, but you're not in a period of stay authorized because you don't have an I-485, a green card application filed. So hopefully that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Good luck to your friend, Marlon.
Yep. Also, motion to reopen, right? MTR is available, but it's just as expensive.
Exactly.
It's just as expensive as filing a new I-485.
And the motion to reopen doesn't give them a waiting period in the U.S. where the 45 will.
Yes. Yeah. We've talked about this strategically before.
Okay.
Good stuff here.
Yeah, good questions.
Really great questions.
Let's jump over back to TikTok here. Rugrat says, hi, they told me that they took action on my case May 17th, 2026 for my citizenship. Can you tell me about
how long it's going to take? Probably.
Yeah, Rugrat, where'd the rest of your answer question
Yeah,
go?
what is it, May? So let's just assume a couple
Probably
things.
wants to know, how long it's going to be.
So let's just assume a couple of things that Rugrat passed the interview, right? Passed all the parts of the interview. Maybe their case was being recommended for approval May to June, May, June. It's only been a couple months. Like, what am I thinking right now? So Rugrat, you might just be. I mean, it's nothing to panic about, right, Odette? I mean, this is
not if she just had the interview now.
Yeah, May 2026,
Yeah.
2026.
But if she hasn't had an interview, still in processing time. We don't know when you filed.
Yeah, right. Because maybe that's what they're talking about. Like, so.
All right, just an update. Joe said he really appreciates the information and for us all to have a good one. You too, Joe.
Yeah. So for the answer to that question, if you finish the test and everything was all good to go, and you're wondering when is that going to be done? It does take several months to schedule that swearing in, which Odette, they're a U.S. citizen after they pass that test, though, right?
No. Not a U.S. citizen until the judge swears you in.
That's right. You gotta be sworn in first. So we do citizenship cases, of course, and when our clients pass, we really want them to just stay home for the next 3 months.
Yeah.
So they don't get a ticket, they
Yeah.
don't get a divorce, they don't travel outside of the not that these things can't happen, but these things can delay the swearing in potentially. And so
Yeah.
we
I
just
represented a gentleman once on a reckless driving. We had to appeal to circuit court to try to fix it up, but he had his case was almost over. He was waiting to swear in. He got a reckless driving ticket, and he got
I remember this.
I don't know exactly. I mean, it seemed extreme, but he had like an 8-month suspended jail time. He got 8 months of jail, all of it suspended on condition of 2 years of good behavior. And he said, "Oh yeah, my lawyer did a bang up job. He got me no jail, and I pled to that, and I'm good to go." And I said, "Yeah, you're good to go with the reckless driving, but you have a problem now with your citizenship."
Yeah.
So, so we appealed it and cut the time way, 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 way down. I explained to the prosecutor that we didn't want to have a 2-year good behavior period. That was going to be trouble.
Yes.
Not trouble, but just
A problem for
a
sure.
major inconvenience for him to have to wait.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
We
what
did-
are we talking about here? We're talking about good behavior periods. We're talking about probation.
yeah.
I mean, why can't they just swear in to become a U.S. citizen, even though they're on probation? Can't you just approve those cases? They're on probation, Odette.
Unfortunately, no. The law says you can't. And you can't be on probation or parole. So a suspended sentence, people don't understand that is a probation. So
Yeah.
it says for good moral, good behavior until good behavior, and they'll give you a time frame.
Yeah.
So, it's good
Yeah.
not to travel anyways after your citizenship. I know summertime is a great time to travel for everyone. But if you get a court date to be sworn in, it's taking so long now to get another one, then you'll be upset that you missed that one and then now have to wait 6 months or so for another one. They're just so spread out now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So great
Not
advice.
like it used to be.
If you're waiting, like Radlin said, lay low, don't get in any trouble. That's mentioning, be careful. You may want to not be traveling as well. You're so close when you're waiting to go to that swearing in ceremony. You're so close to the finish line. Just take a deep breath and be careful and wait it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And be careful. Put yourself in a bubble. Not that we're, you do have to live your life for 3 months, but it is really unfortunate when you get a ticket, right? And you have to go to court for it. And so you have to delay your swearing in because they can't swear. So how does that work, right? So let's say I'm swearing in to become a U.S. citizen. I've got the oath, and it's on Friday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Thursday I get a speeding ticket where I have to go appear in court because of the speed, right? It's too fast. Do I can I just go to my swearing in and say, hey, I got a ticket, I've got court?
You should come to your swearing in and say that, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
So Don't just be a no-show. I mean, I'm sure people go. And have you turned those people away?
Yeah, we'll pull your information, and then you'll get a notice in the mail giving you 15 days for the information
15
from
days.
the court that it's been satisfied.
Oh, and you have you ever experienced this where like you have to tell the person that they can't swear in today and they have their family members and their children that are there to watch them swear in? Has that ever happened?
It has happened all the time. It's very sad. They're upset and crying, but
Oh my
unfortunately
gosh,
we
I can't
can't.
even imagine that. I can't even imagine that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if it happens to our clients, we tell them, we ask for a continuance, right? We ask to reschedule the swearing in so they don't have to do that and
Yeah.
be
No.
demoralized on that day. Like that's
Yeah.
awful. It's terrible. So don't do it, guys.
Yeah, we
Don't
won't
speed.
go down this road too much. I won't, but this is just a reminder, when we're talking about any kind of criminal convictions, criminal record, if you have a criminal record or you have any criminal case pending, and that includes traffic charges, because there are many, many traffic charges out there in the world that are misdemeanors that you can go to jail for, like reckless driving or driving on a suspended driver's license or driving without a driver's license. These are really like danger zones in immigration. And so you'll want to talk to an immigration lawyer about your case if you have a record. And if you have case pending, a criminal case pending or a traffic case pending, you really want to make sure that your defense attorney knows a little bit about immigration, or at least knows enough to contact an immigration lawyer, perhaps the one who's representing you if you have one already, and talk to them. These lawyers, they need to speak to each other. If you've got a criminal defense lawyer and an immigration lawyer, they need to be talking to each other. If they're not, then they're both doing you a disservice. And that's on you, because it's very likely that neither of them knows much about the other one even existing. So make sure you force them to speak to each other. All right.
Yeah. And the other side of that, guys, the other side of that is you may have a criminal record history. You may have a criminal record. It's disposed of, you've paid, it was over 5 years ago, it was 20 years ago, whatever. You may still be eligible for US citizenship, and you should definitely see if you are eligible, even with, a reckless driving ticket, a misdemeanor, whatever, for 10 years ago. Outside of the good moral character period, because that is still the law, right? It's outside of the good moral character period. And we are talking a lot about why you shouldn't, when you shouldn't apply, but you should still look into applying if your criminal conviction, charge, arrest falls outside of that good moral character period, because you can still be eligible. And as we discussed 2 weeks ago, the three of us, those naturalization fees are most likely going up from $710 to over $1,000. And so we want people to apply as soon as possible if they're eligible, so you can take advantage of those fees being lower.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And the president of the United States is not looking at your N-400 application, guys. I know a lot of people are like, oh, President Trump is going to deny my applications. He's not looking at the application. Someone like Odette is going to be looking at the application and going through all the questions. Yes, there are policies of the administration, but the law is still there, right? The law is still there, and it's the same as it always has been. So don't be afraid to apply for citizenship. Okay, we have a couple of N-400 questions, right?
Well, one of the questions that came up that was related to this is somebody was asking about DUIs, Odette, and they said, well, what if I have like a couple of DUIs, but they're old? They're like 15 years ago. What do you all make of that? They're in there applying for citizenship and they've got a couple of old DUIs.
They are most likely pretty good.
Yeah.
Most likely pretty good. Hear that, folks? So that's exactly what Radlin is talking about. Just because you have a record doesn't mean you're not eligible. It just means that we need to be aware of it. we want to make sure that it's documented properly and that you don't make any mistakes.
Yeah, if you have a couple of two old DUIs, let's just say they were 15 years ago, you also might want to, just if you have any proof to show rehabilitation, maybe that you went to some AA meetings and there has been rehabilitation, that's good. If you have two DUIs, you haven't paid your taxes, you didn't support your children, even if it's outside of the 5-year good moral character period, and you've got like 6 speeding tickets, there might be a different answer there, because
Right.
again, we're looking at totality of the circumstances, even if all that stuff fell outside of the 5-year good moral period or 3-year good moral period or 1-year good moral period. And so, yeah.
Okay, last one on this topic. Sorry, there's been a lot we kind of opened up. Filipina Life in USA says, well, how about a deferred prosecution? So for those of you who are not familiar, that's where you go to court. You aren't convicted the day you go to court, but the judge says something along the lines of that I think the evidence here is sufficient to find you guilty, but we're going to take this matter under advisement. We're going to defer this case for 1 year. And as long as you do community service and pay your fines, you come back here a year from now and I will dismiss the charge. Let's say that person is wanting to go ahead and finish up their citizenship. Are you all going to be able to do that if they're under that period where there's a deferred finding that they're still under?
No, not if they're still under it.
So, all right, Filipina Life in USA. I knew that, but I wanted to hear it. I wanted you to hear it directly from Odette. Okay. So finding under advisement. Yeah, same thing, because you're still under the court's control there. Think about that. If you don't do it and you go back, then the judge can, find you guilty, and that might change things. So as long as you're under that finding under advisement, they're not going to finish it up for you. Okay.
Yep, absolutely. Okay. 1 minute, real quick. Max collection. And this is something that's been happening. So I-130 was approved. Now they're waiting for the 485 approval. So previously, the I-130, the I-45, they were kind of approved concurrently, and you wouldn't get an I-130 approval prior to getting that I-45. They would just come at the same time. This is something that's a little bit different now, and I believe it's just because of additional background checks that are required. I don't think that you saw this while you were still there, Odette, right? With the I-130 petition getting approved first.
On some cases, they were happening, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why?
But I think now it's because of additional questions and things.
Okay.
Too.
Right. Yeah. So Max collection, don't be overly concerned. We've been seeing that as well. And then after those background checks are done, usually that I-45 is getting approved in a couple of weeks. And so, yeah. And we're out of time.
We are out of time, and we had a comment here on Facebook that more attorneys need to know your most valuable advice and wisdom, since mine did not. And I think that's in reference to.
Thank you, Roy.
To again, criminal defense lawyers being focused solely on the criminal defense part of the case, not realizing that there might be an immigration shoe to drop for the client if they're not a citizen.
Right.
That may be more severe for them than the punishment that they'll have for the actual state crime or city crime. So.
Absolutely. That's a great one to end on. I don't know why, but Roy and we call each other Canadian cousins. I can't remember why. Like, I think one of his middle names is Mendoza. I can't remember why, but anyway, Odette, thank you so much. And thank everyone.
Thank you.
For your amazing questions.
Thanks everyone for the great questions. Odette, as always, thank you so much for being here. Such a great addition, and we just love to pick your brain. It's like, it's, as our daughter would say, it's best.
It's best.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Guys. Thanks for the great questions.
Have a great night. Oh, that's
Bye.
right.
Bye. Bye-bye.